to episode 5, 6, 5. Oh God, I've already lost count. I've lost count.
Numbers are just a construct anyway, it's fine.
Exactly, yeah. So, welcome to an episode of Win or Learn. My name is Paul of PGGS Music, and today I am joined by Ari of Hidden Mothers, and also previously, some of you may remember, a little band called Fly Barn Bird Fly On, way back in the day.
Yeah, and also New Ghost as well.
Of course, yeah, because you were in the first iteration, weren't you?
Absolutely.
You and Caroline.
The supergroup,
The supergroup, yeah.
So happy for those guys, but we'll get onto that, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So thank you for coming on the show. How are you doing today?
Very well. It's late, but I've had enough caffeine, so it's great.
We're both sufficiently caffeinated to power through this. For anyone who's tuning in for the first time, premise of the show, as the name might suggest, is to talk to musicians about their experiences, talk about things where they have won, so have victories, be them small or big, past or present, and also talk about lessons that they've learned, so where they've had to adjust to a situation or where things have just gone utterly tits up, but there's always things that can be drawn from those and taken forward into the next experiences. So, in tradition, would you like to start with a win, start with a learn?
I'm going to start with a big win, if
awesome.
I may.
Go for it.
So I think the biggest win in my musical journey is making the decision to buy an American football that was about this big, like a 6-inch American football. But I suppose there's been a stack of wins throughout my musical journey. So I think how to define a win and look is quite difficult.
Yeah.
So I would say I'm quite lucky that I grew up in an area in North Leicestershire, hence the accent.
Yes.
So where the arts were well funded.
Yeah.
So we had, in my primary school, we had a full orchestra. Like a full orchestra. There was 120 students in the full school.
Yeah.
So, I've had a class of like 30 people. So when I was like, I don't know, 7 or 8 or 9, that age, they said, here's a recorder, do some stuff with it. I was like, okay, that sounds cool. So started playing the recorder. I know that my mum played the recorder, so we played recorder together. And I'm the only person in my family who's musical.
Okay.
My mum played recorder, I guess, at primary school.
Yeah.
You know, so then I was given the choice of having a not to shit on recorders, because they are very important in the whole Renaissance period and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But to get a proper instrument, you know. And I absolutely loved the look of a cornet. I thought, right, I want to play the cornet. Yeah. But my mum was like, no, it's too loud. So I was like, okay, what's the next best thing? And there was this instrument which is just like black and covered in silver and it looks badass. So I was like, right, I'm going to play clarinet. So started playing clarinet when I was like, I'd say like 7 or 8, and teacher wasn't that good. You know, and you need someone who is engaging to get you to that place where you love that thing that you do.
Yeah.
And also I couldn't get the embouchure right. Wow. Putting the lips over and then writing the thing, it just wasn't for me. So I think I played it for a couple of months and thought, nah, fuck that. Yeah. I'm going to play something else. So this is going back to like the funding. I had that opportunity and luck to do that because my parents didn't have to buy those instruments. They were loaned to us through a government funding scheme.
So the option to kind of pick and try and go, no, not feeling that, not feeling
exactly.
that.
Given the option to fail, because that's probably one of the most important things in a creative environment is being given that chance to fail.
Yeah.
Means that you can then find something that you love, you know. So I then got rid of the clarinet and went for the flute instead.
Okay.
I thought, that sounds pretty cool. I like that. I just like the look of it because it's shiny.
Yeah.
I'm a magpie, so that's exactly me. So I played the flute, and the teacher I had, I can't for the life of me remember her name, but she was brilliant. She was like so supportive, and I learned to read music and play music with this teacher, and she was like, Ari, you're fantastic. We're going to skip grades 1 and 2 and get you straight into grade 3. So I was a graded musician there.
Oh, brilliant.
Did my grade 3 flute, passed with distinction.
Oh.
Hair flick. And she was so supportive that she put me in touch with this flute choir in Leicester Town. So I'd go and play every weekend in this flute choir, and I got to play at De Montfort Hall before the age of 10, which is phenomenal. So I got the bug for playing live music at a very young age. I was like, all eyes on me.
Yes.
I like this. So yeah, so I carried on playing flute for a few years, and as I say, like it was good because the next school that I got to, so the schooling system in Leicester is slightly different to the rest of the country. I don't know why. You have like a primary school, then you have like a middle school, then you have your high school afterwards. So secondary school. The teacher was a little bit strict, let's say. So I wouldn't practice as often as I probably should have.
Yeah.
And it showed. And she would like march me down to the head of music and say, "You should not practice this week." So I was like, right, fuck this. So I just gave up the flute.
Presumably you're a teen at this point, though.
Yeah, pre-teen, like 12, 13. Now, but as luck would have it, as another win, when I was 12, I was massively into basketball because at primary school all the boys went to football. I was like, okay, yeah, football's cool, but I want to do something different. I want to be counterculture.
Yeah.
Like a young, I don't know where I got that from, but so I played netball at primary school.
Yeah.
We won the league 77, and all the parents around the age said, "It's not fair, he's a boy." So because I was like tall, and I was goal shooter and goalkeeper, and we won 17-1 in the final against Seagrave or some other shitty village somewhere.
Yeah.
But, so I carried that forward. So I played netball because I love basketball. You're roughly the same age as me, but in the early 90s, like Chicago Bulls were like all the rage. So
Jordan was crushing it.
Absolutely, yeah. Like Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen, all the big boys. So I was like, yeah, I'm massively into basketball. So I lived on a little cul-de-sac in a tiny little village. So this village is probably like 300 people. It's a small little village. So there's not many people about. So I was just playing basketball and playing against the wall, and there was this older kid, so I would have been about 12 at the time, and he was 15, he's 3 years older than me, and he was like, can I come and play basketball? He was massively into it as well, but as luck would have it, he'd just fallen out with his only other friend in the village, so I was like, okay, I'll be your new friend. So this kid, because he was older, he'd already had that maturity of like listening to cool music.
Yeah.
And he got me into all sorts of stuff, like proper opened my eyes up, because I was into like stuff because of my dad, like listening to like Deep Purple or Pink Floyd and all the classics.
Yeah.
And he kind of showed me more weird stuff like Bjork, Aphex Twin, Sigur Rós, Radiohead. I was like, this is amazing.
Definitely at the deep end of the weird stuff.
Exactly, yeah. So at 12, like straight in with all the weird stuff. Like Smashing Pumpkins were all the rage as well. So I got really, really into like weird guitar music. I say weird guitar music for a young lad at quite an early age. So I got the book there. I was like, I really like the sound of a bass guitar. So for my 13th birthday, I asked my parents if they could have a bass guitar. Kids, again, being counterculture, I didn't want to be like a guitarist like everybody else. So I was like, yeah, I really, really want a bass guitar. So on my 13th birthday, I was like, Mum and Dad was like, come on upstairs, we've got something for you. And they unveiled it, and it was a 6-string. And I was absolutely heartbroken. I was like, fuck. But I think that was another kind of win for me, because it meant that I played it, I was like, actually, fuck it, I really love this.
Yeah.
So imagine I could have been a bassist, Paul. so
heaven forbid.
Yeah, heaven forbid, right? So from the age of 13 till I moved out of the village, every summer I'd sit in my little garage with Matt, this older mate, and we'd just play guitar. So I'm self-taught, terrible technique. Never had a lesson with guitar at all. I just learned and picked it up by ear.
Yeah.
And around about this time, I was then moving into secondary school, and again, the funding for the arts was still bob on. So we had it was Rawlins Community College, so from the age of about 15, we'd have full access to a recording studio. I mean like a full, huge desk, like 32 channel desk, and we were recording onto mini disc, which is like, that was like the height of technology at the time. Like, we're recording digitally onto this cool little mini disc, and that was going to be the next big thing, you know. So I got to learn how to record. We got to learn how to program stuff through Cubase. And I was like, I really like producing stuff as well. So having these all like little chance things happen to me, and I get to discover something that I really enjoy doing. And so when all the kids were out playing football, I'd be in the music room just playing guitar, or in the recording studio part, just recording parts and what have you. So it was awesome. And then I think around about, must have been 2018, just as I was leaving Leicestershire to come to university. Now, this is where I wanted to do something music related, but my dad was like, no, you've got to do a proper job. So I was like, okay, so I'm good at maths, and business studies is okay. So I did business studies and statistics, physics and psychology for my A-levels. And I was like, I really want to do music technology. But I wasn't allowed. So I did the first year of business and stats. I dropped physics and psychology and took up music technology. That's a little fuck you to my dad. I was like, fuck that, I am going to do music. And then also geography, for some reason. I don't know, maybe I like the patches on elbows, who knows. So the only A-levels that I finished through to AS, or the A2, whatever it was back then, meant that I could only do something that was either maths or business related. So I chose accountancy. Okay. So when it came around to choosing my universities, my first choice was Sheffield, and that was based on the music scene here. I had just started to discover electronic music, so stuff like Warp Records, and say like Aphex Twin, Autechre, that kind of thing. I was like, that's in Sheffield, I want to go there. So I got my first choice, and I came to Hallen. It was excellent, and I loved it. And at this point, I'd almost fallen out of love with guitar music, because to me, stuff like Fall Out Boy and Good Charlotte and what have you all sounded the same to me. I was like, it's a bit rubbish now, I don't like it anymore. So I got...
That line between, like, is it a pop song now, is it still a rock song?
Exactly, it just kind of felt a bit generic and overproduced, I guess, to sound like a wanker. But
I completely concur. There's a few little bits of those kind of bands that are like, oh, okay, that's a bit interesting, but a lot of it is kind of like copy paste.
It's basically paint by numbers to me, which meant that I did miss out on a lot of stuff, which I have since revisited. But I got massively into electronic music and drugs. So they kind of go hand in hand, who knows? So I knew that. Exactly. So I got massively into like progressive house, progressive techno, minimal house, all that kind of thing. And I just used to shut myself away in my room in first year uni and just try to make those sounds. And I had very basic knowledge from an A-level that I only did half of. Of using like Cubase and what have you. So I had like, do you remember Dan CJ?
I don't know.
There was a program, like a really shitty CD-ROM program called Dan CJ, which was just full of like shit samples. But what I do is I export it from Dan CJ, fuck around with it in Adobe Audition. Do you remember that? So Adobe Audition, mangle it, and then put it back in Dan CJ to try and make some tracks. And I burnt myself a little CD, and I took it to a DJ. I think, play this for me. And it's not very well produced. I was like, okay. So I didn't know shit. So I'm probably like massively, probably whatever. So anyway, I don't know where I'm going with this. I love it. And so I got massively into dance music, massively into like producing stuff like that, and just completely fell out of love with guitars. Sold my guitars to pay for rent at one point. So I had no guitars. I just play around on the computer and try and make beeps and boops. Forever and ever. And I think one day, it was probably around about 2009, 2010. It would definitely have been about that time, because I was wearing the Leicester City shirt from when we were in League One. We've only ever been in League One once, and that was 2010. But I decided, we decided we're going to have a barbecue at Rother Valley.
Yeah.
And we went to Tesco, we got all our shit for the barbecue, and there was a little, those little buckets full of like footballs and frisbees and what have you. I was like, why not buy that American football instead?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. Why not? So instead of buying...
Again with your counterculture.
Yeah, exactly right. So this is all leading up to, I'm going to buy an American football and not a round ball because fuck culture.
Yeah.
So we took this ball up to Rother Valley, me and a group of mates, had a barbecue and started throwing the ball around and discovered that actually I'm really good at this. I can catch this, I can throw this. Why don't we, it's like a half joke to one of my mates, why don't we go and play American football for Sheffield? Well, I wonder if there's a team.
Yeah.
So the next day I emailed the university, Hallam, what are they called now? I know they play in Burgundy, I can't remember the name of the team. I emailed them and said, do you take non-students in? They were like, no, we don't, but you can maybe try Sheffield Sabres, which is the red brick.
Yeah.
So I emailed them and they're like, no, we don't really, but there is a team called the Sheffield Predators.
Okay.
Why don't you try and get in contact with them? So I was like, okay, let's give it a go. And got in contact. They were like, yeah, come down to Hillsborough Park on this day. This is where we practice. So I came down and played it and just fell in love with the sport. It was just so much fun.
Yeah.
Literally never ever broken a bone in my body before. On the first day, I got stamped on by a big linebacker and broke my toe. So I was like, yes, this is what I want to do. This is so much fun. So I ended up playing for the Sheffield Predators for a while and met a lad there called Adam. And I was kind of between jobs. So, okay, unemployed. I was unemployed.
Yeah.
I was unemployed. So he was like, I've got a job interview at Virgin. Do you want to come along? And I was like, yeah, all right. So got a job at Virgin and started talking about, well, once I got there, there was a group of people that all liked that kind of strange music.
Yeah.
So from my drug-taking days, when we were listening to dance music, we'd go to after parties and listen to loads of post-rock.
Yeah.
So, like Explosion in the Sky, Mogwai, stuff like that. And we got talking about Explosion in the Sky with another lad called Adam, a different Adam.
Yeah.
And another lad called James. And we said, I like this, and you like this, and you're a drummer, and you're a guitarist. Shall I just play bass? And they're like, yeah. So, went out and bought a bass guitar. This is all like a little butterfly effect.
Yeah, yeah.
Bought a bass guitar and ended up forming Fly On Bird Fly On.
Yeah.
So this is because I bought that ball, met Adam, got a job at Virgin, met these lads, and formed this band. So we were a three-piece originally. At one point, I accidentally, on purpose, bought myself a guitar instead. So it was like, I prefer doing that bit and going do all the time.
Which is very interesting, given obviously what you said earlier about like, oh no, it's not a bass, and now it's like, oh, it's a bass.
Exactly, yeah, bass go burr.
Yeah.
So I ended up playing the guitar, so we didn't have a bassist anymore. And then we played a show, and we borrowed Joe Warrington for a bit. One show. Can't remember where that was. It was somewhere on Division Street. And a lad came down to watch us for the first time, Ryan, and he's like, I really like what you're doing. And I was like, well, we really need a bassist, so do you want to come and play? He was like, yes, I do. So we got Ryan Layton on board, and his work ethic when it came to songwriting and what have you, we kind of almost not stagnated, but we weren't writing that much as a three-piece. But as soon as Ryan came in, this is exactly what you need. This is one of my first learns, is that you need somebody with a vision within that band to drive it forward. Or someone to lead somewhere. So he brought that in, I was like, oh, okay, so it's better to have someone to do something for us.
Yeah.
And
sort of spark the conversation.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not just playing music, you need also to do something with it for people to enjoy it, because ultimately that's why we do it, isn't it? We want people to enjoy our craft, our artwork, you know. So anyway, there was another time that Adam couldn't make a gig, so Ryan got his brother in to sub. So Damo came and played guitar, and we were like, Damo's an excellent guitarist, can we keep it? So for a while, there were three guitarists in Fly On Bird Fly On.
Awesome,
yeah.
A very maiden.
Exactly, yeah. So we had three guitarists. Then we had Kingy join. So we had the keyboards, and then eventually we kind of settled on the last five that you've probably seen us play a few times. And because now we had the two Leighton brothers writing quite a lot of music, they were massively into like thrice and stuff like that, so they made it sound a little bit more heavy than they were before.
Yeah.
We started getting decent shows, so we got in with a couple of promoters, Marty Toner, who runs now Button Pusher, and Stuart, who does Bad Owl in Leeds. Still really, really good mates to this day.
The other people do Strange Forms.
Yes,
isn't it?
Yeah, in a couple of weeks' time. I can't wait. It's like Math Rock Holiday. It's brilliant. So I'm really, really happy that they really like what they heard. So we got in with them. Ended up playing shows with like Bodyhound, Vassar, and Gilmore Trail as well, who were like our sister band, if you like, at the time. So we got massively into the whole math rock and post rock scene, just kind of like formed around us. Like, we're like kind of like sticking onto us like magnets. But like, yeah, okay, cool, I love this. So I met loads and loads of mates just through that math rock scene because of Marty and Stuart and John Niblock as well. So we went to, I went to the first ever Arctangent in 2013. I was like, there is nothing like this in Sheffield. There is no math rock scene. There's no post rock scene in Sheffield. So me and a mate, I don't know if you know Mike Shields. You know Mike Shields. He was in a band called Flatlands a while back.
Many outfits.
Many outfits, exactly. The Slow Blade was my favourite of his.
Much love to you, Mike.
I do tell him on the regular that Slow Blade is my favourite. But yeah, so me and Mike decided to start Made.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you've been to a couple of Made shows. Yeah. So
some very cosy rooms.
It was very, very warm at some point, and it was absolutely chocker. I don't know how we managed it, but it just happened. So Mike made stuff for Mike and Harry's All Day Extravaganza. So that's a little tidbit there. I was never.
There you go. I'd often wondered why the name Maker. There you go.
Yeah, with the three A's in the logo. That's exactly why. So Mike said I was never allowed to tell anyone that, but that's exactly what it means. So we booked loads and loads of bands from all around the country, and again growing this like friendship group of like-minded musicians that were all into the same cool shit. And so we put on Baal as well. So Stefan played for us at one point. So
the Mark 1 Baal lineup, because there's been a few.
There has been a few.
In that Crimson kind of way, there's been a few iterations.
Yeah, this is it. It's like there's only, I don't know if there's any original members left. Like,
I think it's Nick and Rich, but don't quote me on that. So.
I have no idea. But so I met Stefan just on like an off chance, and I knew that he'd started to train to be a barber. So I was like, I'm growing a beard now, so I need to see a barber. Yeah. So I'll go and see Steph. I kind of know him. Yeah. So I'll go and see him and I'll speak to him. And we kind of grew our friendship through me just going down to the barbers, going out for a bev afterwards and speaking to him. And at this point, Fly on Bird had been split up for a while. I think we broke up in 2017. And it must have been about 2 years of not doing anything with bands and just promoting, just doing Made all the time.
Still very much within the scene.
Still in the scene, but not doing the thing that I love in the scene. Yeah. So, but you know what? No, I tell a lie. I fucking love putting on shows. It's so much fun. So much fun. A lot of stress, but a lot of fun. So, eventually I just said to Steph, I was like, "You're a singer. I'm looking for a band. Should we start a band?" He was like, "Yeah." So obviously, like kind of almost half joking, he's like, "Okay, leave it with me." And like the guy in Mission Impossible, he's getting out his folders, going through all these people. He's like, "Right, Luke Scribbins, you're in. Liam, you're in." He just started cutting the hair of a lad called another Adam.
Many Adams.
Many too. There's a lot of Adams in this story. Yeah. So this is Adam, brand new. Another lucky win. Yeah. So there's very, very seldom do you find a drummer that's not in a million other bands.
Yes, particularly in Sheffield.
Yeah, exactly. So we took Adam in, and Luke and Liam, and we all had a meeting at, where is it now? The Washy. So we went to the Washy. This is what we want to sound like. This is what we want to do, and this is how we should probably do it. So we set out, we're like, okay, we like these bands. I like Converge. I like Death Heaven. I like bit of Explosion in the Sky. Let's try and meld all these together and see what happens. And we all like the same music, which was great. So we also said, wouldn't it be cool if we played Arctangent? And wouldn't it be cool if we were signed to the same labels like Svalbard and Roller Tomasi and Palmarina and what have you? So we're like, okay, cool, let's do that. So
here's the plan.
This is the plan. So we had a plan. I think we met, I think it would have been December, and we didn't have our first practice till, it was January. Yeah. January, I could probably put a date on it. I think it was the 5th. And the first practice, we wrote a full song.
Sweet.
And
which one out of interest?
Our first single,
The
Longest Journey
Yet.
That is unchanged from that first practice. And we just gelled as musicians. We just kind of worked together. We're like, fuck, we've got something special here.
Yeah.
So just out of pure chance, there's 5 people that love doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And work really, really well together. So, yeah, I think that buying that American football definitely changed my life. So I think
you certainly weren't overstating it.
No, exactly. So that was huge, because we have since playing Arctangent. We've since now signed to Church Road Records, these are 2 bucket list things that we wanted to do.
Day 1 objectives. Correct?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Done. Tick, tick. What's next? So absolutely mind-blowing that we've managed to do that, because not only have we played Arctangent, but we're back this year as well.
Back to back.
Back-to-back Arctangent, and the 10-year anniversary. And the lineup is insane.
It is quite absurd.
It's quite something, isn't it? Yeah.
It's like they took the first line and went, what if we just try and smush all of them into one and see how close we get?
Even better, but like last year we played with Converge and we played with Death Heaven, and we're like, we're going to get found out. Like, all of our direct influences are here, but it was...
Well, they're going to be like, I know that riff.
I've heard that before. Yeah. But it was fantastic, and I want to do it again and again and again and again. It was great. Going to Arctangent and playing that was insane, because we were the first band on Friday, and we went out for sound check, and there was like about 15 people there, just sat on the grass waiting for us. Like, okay, maybe if we get like 100 people, that'd be cool. So we now did our warm-ups and what have you, and then I'm the first one out on stage as I set all the samples out, and I looked out and it was a full 10, and I was like, oh, this is cool.
That's what I was hoping you were going to say.
Yeah, I was like, this is cool. So I don't get stage fright at all. I love it. So I just go out there and I was just like, fuck yeah, let's fucking do this. So I think we played one of our best sets that we've ever played, because I think we're just so pumped by it.
Yeah.
So, and then got invited to play come back this year, so it must be good.
Yeah.
Which is great. So, yeah, and I think we played mostly new music. I think we only played one old track as well. So to play Arctangent on the back of a 4-year-old EP with 4 tracks and not play any of those.
Ballsy, for sure.
Was pretty brave, yeah. Pretty brave, but I absolutely love the new songs, and I can't wait to show people what we've got. The album is due out later this year. I don't know. We're looking like the last third of the year.
Okay.
So we haven't got a release date yet, but big things coming soon.
Heads up.
Yeah.
So are you at that kind of like everything's mixed, everything's mastered, it's with the label now?
The whole package is there. Yeah, exactly. The whole package is there. It's been sent to the label, so we're just waiting for a release plan.
So how cool is that to say it's been sent to the label?
I know, right? It's insane. It's like, I'm a signed musician. It's like such a wanky thing to say, but I love it.
Yeah,
absolutely love it. Yeah,
you've earned it, so roll with it. So.
Oh, absolutely. I think going back, I've had the chance to work with some incredible musicians. Going back to New Ghost, Chris Anderson is one of the best songwriters that I've ever had the chance to work with. Fantastic lad. And to...
Blindness as well.
Yeah, unbelievable the amount of shit that he churns out, and it's not shit.
Yeah.
This is it. It's like incredible stuff. So their new single, Wayfarer, was out today. Have you listened?
Yeah.
Wowzers.
Did some little acoustic shows for a while up at the Red Deer, and one of the ones I got Chris and he brought Ellie to come and do it. I heard Wayfarer like about a year or so before anything happened with it, and even just like stripped down 2 voices and the guitar, I was like, this is a banger.
Yeah.
It's an absolute banger.
Well, I'm on the first New Ghost album, and it's mostly Chris's like vision.
Is that the Burning Out one?
Yes, yeah, the self-titled with the...
Got the cassette upstairs.
Oh, excellent. You're one of the few, that's cool, that. But yeah, having to work with... So we worked with Craig from Arian,
yeah.
Caroline from Dystopian Future Movies, and Gareth Hughes, who's you know Gareth.
Yeah.
He was on the first 65 Days of Static album. So to work with that caliber of like musicians on one of my first full-length records is just incredibly lucky. I don't know, I'm just always in the right place at the right time.
It seems
I'm
like
classing that as a big win.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I think you could probably take some credit for that as well, because obviously that's an incredible row of dominoes to just happen to line up. So I think you can definitely give yourself some credit that there's definitely something that's going to be drawing those people towards you rather than just, I'm happy to be here, because that'd be incredible for your blog.
Like the Kool-Aid guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
running through the wall. I'm just in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think they have I think my whole kind of musical journey it's felt like a big win, and there's more to come. There's more to come. So
to use the cliche, I suppose the cliche would be the best is yet to come.
Exactly. We haven't even released the album yet. I can't wait for people to hear it. I'm so proud of it. Again, working with incredible songwriters, like Luke's done a lot of the work in terms of like writing the lyrics and writing the melody. So he's the melody guy, I'm the harmony guy.
Yeah.
So we have we're not like a lead guitar and rhythm guitar. He plays out and I'll just do something stupid over the top of it. And I guess that kind of segues nicely onto the learns, because my learn is probably a literal learn.
Yeah.
So when I was with Fly on Bird, Ryan was like, "Why don't you learn some theory?" I was like, "The last theory I did was when I was 7 and I did grade 3 flutes."
Yeah.
You know, so I haven't done any theory for a while, and what's the point? Like, none of the punk rockers learned theory, and their music sounds great. You know, so I was like, "Nah, fuck that. I'm just gonna wing it and play the wrong note. It'll be fine." So. But all the time you don't realise that every time you play as a musician you are learning theory anyway. It's all about interval trainings, that kind of thing. So you know theory without actually having learned theory.
Exactly,
you know what I mean? So I spent lockdown massively nerding out. So spent just watching endless YouTube videos of Adam Neely, Boss all his stuff. And also I went back to producing producers as well. So there's a couple of producers that I listen to. So You Suck at Producing, great YouTube channel, and Underdog, electronic music classes.
Okay.
And again, they kind of lean into the more theory side of things as well as the sound design stuff as well. So I just wanted to really hone my craft.
Yeah.
And just got massively into learning theory. So there's loads of jazz hidden in the new record. None of the other lads know. So let's put some upper extensions here. It's fine. So that's another thing I did actually. I wanted to make sure that with this album that I was finding inspiration from stuff that I didn't necessarily think I should be. So I spent the whole time when we were writing the album avoiding metal. So I listened to very, very few metal albums for about a year or so.
Okay.
I just went back and went to rediscover stuff from the 2010s. So Metronomy, there's loads of Metronomy over the album. So loads of inspiration from Block Party, who else? It's all gone out of my head. The Yes. Just stuff that I wouldn't have thought to be inspired by. Yeah. It's all about filling your subconscious with ideas and then just spurting them all out onto the fretboard and see what happens. So still
kind of linked together by virtue of them being guitar-driven bands, but very different aesthetics.
Exactly. Well, even non-guitar stuff, I started listening to loads of jazz funk, like Herbie Hancock and Wayne Shorter and stuff like that. So Joe Richards from Gilmore Shelby, salivating at the mouth at the thought of me listening to Jack of Story or something like that. So.
And he'll just be thinking that GIF. He'll be like,
yes, nice.
We've all had the Joe Nod GIF.
Yes, exactly. So, but really listening to stuff that I wouldn't, take myself out of my comfort zone, I guess. And it's all about taking yourself out of the comfort zone, because what's the point of doing something safe when you could be trying something weird and wonderful? And it works. So, Luke does all the writing and what have you, and then I do something weird over the top. And we got to the recording studio, and there's a build-up where there's a polymeter, and Liam was like, I didn't know you did that. I was like, well, I've been doing it the whole time. It's a secret. So, as I say, it's hidden loads of jazz on there and none of the lads know. But I think the biggest learn for me is actually literally learning my craft.
Yeah.
It's like when I was younger, I really hated English because I was like, I speak English. Yeah. Why do I need to study it? but then you study. It's like, okay, now I understand. So it's just more tools to have. It means that I know how to form a sentence before the sentence is written.
Yeah.
And also, it means that once I know the rules, I can also break the rules.
Yes.
So that's...
I suppose you can also know, again, go pick up the counterculture theme again. You can know, like, well, people are probably expecting that.
Yes.
So, how about this instead?
I'll do that. Deceptive cadence.
Yes, exactly.
Like that. But yeah, no, it's been a long journey, and I feel good.
Yeah.
Good, yeah.
Awesome. There's obviously a rich wealth of stuff in there. Lots of stuff that, as you say, I think we're pretty much the same age, so a lot of stuff I'm familiar there. Like, I started off in Recorder Club. I was there at primary school. I was the only boy in Recorder Club.
Oh, so. Excellent. I think I was the only boy that played flute, so yeah it's fantastic.
The only thing I remember is the fact that I was very much at the have to write the letter of the note above the thing.
Yes.
And we did the Blackadder theme at one point. That's
well
cool. Before I knew what Blackadder was.
I mean, that would fit perfectly on the recorder as well.
Yeah. We had netball as well, so so that definitely sounds familiar. So.
There's some nice parallels there.
Yeah, but again, having all those dominoes kind of line up, like I say, there's definitely obviously an element of luck to it, like there is with any kind of successes you have. But yeah, I think you can definitely give yourself some credit in terms of like people going, because obviously if you bought that football and they had that conversation, they'll go, actually, this guy's a bit weird, a bit well,
yeah.
We've got one in the world. You guys may be a bit too weird. And it's all a bit weird. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
We don't do this kind of thing for as long as we do it for...
You need a bit of space.
For no money.
You need personality, you know. So.
Exactly, yeah. They're the people who endure, so... Yeah. Yes, that's fantastic. So, anything else you want to add on any of those, or...?
No, I think that's about it. I think I've promoted the album as best I can without giving away too much.
Yeah, I had a very similar conversation with Chris from Bar. I was like, I can tell you there is an album.
Yes.
And it's coming out maybe this year, possibly.
Yeah.
But that's it. That's all I can tell you.
Exactly that. So, yeah, there will be 3 singles from the album.
Sweet.
So they'll be released up to the run-up, and so the album will be out at the latter half of the year, or the latter third. Yeah. The last third of the year. And
we were saying before I hit the magic record button, obviously you've had a bunch of announcements like going back to Art Tangent, that kind of thing. So, and I know you guys are going to be headlining Corp, aren't you? So
yes,
I like the opportunity to plug. It's my podcast, I can do what I want.
Perfect. So we're playing Corp on the 27th of April. We're also playing Portals Festival in London. Mangata Festival in Nottingham. The dates have completely escaped me at this point. What are the shows?
I do all the classic kind of like links below type things.
Perfect.
So
I'll point
check out the socials.
And Arctangent. I think there's definitely some that I've missed that Liam will be furious that no, he's not. He's a lovely dictator. I mean, lovely...
Shout out to Bandad Liam.
Yeah, exactly, Bandad.
When you guys played at Key Club in Leeds, I was so glad I managed to make that. It was because it was you, Barbarian Hermit, Video Nasties, and Dystopian Future.
What a great show!
It was like bananas, Bill. But yeah, I guess that's the first time I got to meet Liam properly. Bonded on the fact that we're both broad-based Yamaha players, because that's the kind of thing you do when you're an early bass player. But yeah, he literally introduced himself to me as I'm Liam, I'm the Bandad.
Yes, you need a Bandad. You need a Bandad, otherwise
someone's going to hold the wheel.
Yeah, we're all just floating off in different directions. Like this way.
He's a good lad. So
the best. Yeah, literally the best. I love him a lot.
Excellent stuff.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for coming, and thank you for sharing those experiences and those stories. And again, I like the way that everything that's kind of how life is, isn't it? There's not a case of like, right, I'm gonna do this and then this will happen. And it's not like a video game where like I've done the mission, so I'll go do something else now. It's a case of, well, I did this thing and this happened as a result of it, but I wasn't really expecting, and then that happened as a fact.
That. Something so small as a grain of sand or a pebble still makes ripples in water.
Or a miniature American football. So.
Exactly.
Awesome sauce. Well, on that triumphant note, thank you much again for coming up. Much appreciated. And yeah, thank you to everyone who's been listening to the show. I have, over the course of the record, I'm pretty certain this is the 6th one. I'm almost certain it's the 6th one. I'm going to pin with the mask. I'll find out when I'm editing this later. It's actually
just 6.
Yeah, but just delete that bit and then just chop it in. It'll be fine. like in the Simpsons, when the Krusty the Clown thing, and they drop in the I'm really happy to be in Springfield. And
exactly.
Spot on like that. So yeah, so thank you again for coming on. Thank you very much for listening. Again, I've been Paul of PGDS Music, and you get to witness the bit where I say goodbye to the phone. So thank you for listening. See you all next time for another guest next week. Tutty bye.